like Laura's always got the first question here on NFL Daily, and I really do appreciate that as well. What do the Niners need to do to become a Super Bowl contender in this year? Well, I think the number one thing, and this is kind of a cop-out answer, stay healthy. They were super banged up last year. Like I think you saw a little bit of brain drain effect on the coaching staff. I think he'll be better on defense with Robert Saleh back. But like McCaffrey went down. That team is so much different when McCaffrey's healthy. Ayuk is banged up. We'll see when Jawan Jennings is fully back. Like staying healthy will go a pretty long way. I do think your front on defense, you've overhauled that. You spent a first-round pick on Micah Williams. You traded for Bryce Huff. You spent a second-round pick on Alfred Collins. You drafted TJ West in the 4th round. That front, it has to, by the end of the year, has to be extremely good. Stay healthy. I know Isaac Rindo's banged up now. Jordan James has been a bit nicked up too. That's why they added Amir Abdullah. Funny full circle there. Like get them healthy is a huge deal. If they're healthy, why can't they at least win the division? And then you're right back to being that dangerous 49ers team. So I would not rule that out as a possibility. All right, the most comments on today's show gets a shout-out. The last winner was Austin Boyd, 52 separate comments. Appreciate that, Austin. Flood the comment section for me right now. Jaden Houston, or Jaden Houston, however you pronounce it. Who gets dealt or paid, valid there, first, Micah or Scary Terry? I'm going to go with we get a resolution on Terry McLaurin first. I think just like they won't drag that out the same way I presume you are going to see the Cowboys drag out the Micah Parsons saga. Like I feel like the over-under now for Micah is September 1st. And that's the over-under for when the Micah stuff gets sorted out. I think the Terry McLaurin stuff gets sorted out. I don't know if a trade happens for either player, frankly. I would not be surprised if that was not how it played out and it was extensions for both guys. That is what happens a lot of times in trade requests because normally it doesn't reach that point and they're just like, yeah, we'll trade you, but we'll keep it quiet to get more value back. Like the trade request oftentimes means I'm not making progress on the extension. Let me try to force something here. So who gets paid or traded first? MP for Micah Parsons, TM for Terry McLaurin. Let me know in the comment section, the pinned comment, by the way, of today's show. Tony Fuentes, I hope Josh Simmons earns the left tackle spot for KC. I mean, they've already kind of like started to work Jalen Moore, who they paid a decent amount of money to, at left guard to compete with Kinzu Sumataya at that spot. I've giving him some right tackle reps too. I feel like this is Josh Simmons' job. That if it's ever close, like you're going to go with the young player, I do think Simmons ends up starting day one for Kansas City. Health assumed. From Dat One Falcons fan, trade idea. Dallas gets a 2026 second, a 2026 fourth, a 2027 first, outside linebacker D'Angelo Malone, running back Tyler Algier. Falcons get Micah Parsons, who says no. The Cowboys say no. I like Tyler Algier. He's a good player, but like that caliber of player is maybe worth a 4th-round pick. Maybe. D'Angelo Malone, I don't really think has a lot of trade value. Let's just say it's a day 3 pick. So you're doing a second, a future one, and what amounts to a couple of day 3 draft picks, some early value there mixed in with the 4s. But like, I think the Cowboys can get 2 1s at minimum for Micah. So I think, plus, honestly, I think Atlanta, having pumped so many assets already into that edge rushing room, unless they wanted to include a James Pierce or a Jalen Walker as part of the deal, they probably can go with the youth there. Sean Harrington, Blake Corum trade with the Kyron Williams extension. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams at least got some calls about that. Because remember, they have Kyron Williams. They drafted Jarquez Hunter in the 4th. I think the Rams and Sean McVay want to have the run game matter. I don't think they want to have the scenario, what was it, 2 years ago when Kyron went down, they didn't have anybody, and they were trying the Cam Akers thing again. I could see them holding on to guys, but what if Ronnie Rivers ends up being halfway decent for them? At this point, probably be asking for too much there, but I think teams could call. Name a player, any team, any player, who you think ends up getting traded. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. For Mr. 4214, what we should petition not to go to the Cowboys game if Parsons gets traded so Jerry Jones can lose money. LOL. Here's the biggest problem. I get where you're coming from, but here is the biggest problem. The NFL still has TV stuff, and the Cowboys are still going to get enough TV views. Even hate watching will be a thing there. If you are mad at Micah, though, Cowboys, this is how you try to make your voice heard. Marcos Mann says, I am ready for Eagles against the Cowboys. I cannot wait either. Going to be a fun game. I think the Eagles are 7-point favorites, which feels so right in the end. Football truly back in less than a month is going to be awesome. Now, if you want us to keep doing weekly live shows, show it by subscribing. That way you can join us for all the different live shows here on Chat Sports. From Skyler, should Minnesota trade for a receiver if Addison is suspended? Well, he was suspended 3 games today, Tuesday, by the NFL. I don't think they're going to. It's a 3-game suspension. They can get by with some combination of 3rd-round pick Ty Felton, 6th-round pick Jalen Nailor. They did pick up Rondale Moore, too, if they had to just, survive. Tim Jones has played snaps in the NFL. They've got 2 tight ends they like in Hawkinson and tight end 2, Josh Oliver. So I don't think the Vikings have to go trade for a receiver. I think they'll be able to just, hold the fort down and be okay until he's back. From Billy Klein, will the Bears trade Cole Kmet? My answer is probably not. At least not this year. I think they want to have the ability to be multiple tight ends and have Loveland and Cole Kmet be involved. Durham Smythe can block, but that's not, he doesn't offer much as a pass catcher, frankly. So I don't think this offseason we see the Bears shopping around Cole Kmet. Next offseason, that's a possibility. But given the investments and, the fun asset of Colston Loveland still, I think the Bears end up keeping Kmet. How many more trades happen before Week 1 gets going? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Get your predictions in for me right now. Ruthless Monk, what does the market look like for the 2023 wide receiver class? Puka Nacua, Zay Jones, Rashee Rice, Jordan Addison. I think the one who could reset it is probably Puka Nacua. The market jumped up significantly with Jamar Chase's massive contract. He's ahead of Justin Jefferson. He is ahead of CeeDee Lamb, etc. I could see Puka Nacua by the time we get to that point, which is not now. You're maybe doing it next offseason, but you're probably further away, maybe a year after that. I could see Puka resetting the market. As of right now, I don't think Zay Flowers resets it, but he could be in that tier 2 grouping, which by then could be $30+ million. Rashee Rice has to keep his off-the-field stuff out of the way. That's always going to be looming. Jordan Addison is probably in the T. Higgins range of top 10 highest paid receiver, but not quite as the other guys because he's D2. The Vikings could let him leave as well. That actually could be a scenario Minnesota explores given the investments elsewhere, but that's not a guarantee either. I think they would rather keep him, frankly. I think maybe Puka could reset the market. Nathan Wagner, now that Addison got his suspension handed to him, what do you see happening to Rashee Rice's suspension? Good question. I don't know when we're going to get the Rashee Rice suspension. That legal case is still ongoing. It's not clear when that's actually going to be finalized, and the NFL won't finalize it until the legal side of it is all squared away. So it's kind of uncertain of what the situation looks like here. There's a couple there's arguments for a shorter suspension, a different suspension. I'd put the over under at 6. I think a 6-game suspension, which might not come this year, might come next year, makes sense because there is video. Regardless of what the legal system ends up fully playing out, there's video of it too. So, from Mr. 4214, will Lamb and Pickens both have 1,000+ receiving yards? I think it's possible. Health is required for Lamb, for Pickens, but also for the quarterback. Milton might be able to get you there with a couple deep bombs per game, but I think there is a possibility both those guys go for 1,000 yards. If it is, it might be 13 for CD and 1,001 for George Pickens, but I do think it is possible for both of those guys.